Hey, I gave my take on Twitter
Yeah.
on this immediately, but
Yeah. Yeah. We're hot taking now.
well, it's Marvel's free. Marvel is free, and at long last, that campaign from forever ago coming to fruition. And like I said, my favorite part is that this Marvel versus Capcom collection rolls out the red carpet for the fan made Ultimate Marvel 3 Community Edition and Marvel Infinite and beyond. Because it's every versus game, minus Tatsunoko, of course. Every Marvel versus game in one collection up to two. So, and that's going to be on everything except Xbox, which there's rumors that Microsoft is not allowed to have Marvel games or X-Men
Yeah,
characters.
because they're exciting.
there's there's some weird rumors about that.
Why don't you have Marvel games,
I
X-Bomb?
don't know how real, I don't know the veracity of that or not, but regardless, yeah. So it's great just to have a collection for people that allow these games to be played, on future platforms for everybody. Just the ability to preserve it. That's my main thing with it. And if you have it on PC, then that's gonna last extra long compared to the console versions. Now,
You know, a long time ago, Wooly, you said we were talking about Capcom. This is like 8, 9 years ago. We were talking about Smash Brothers and the roster that Smash Brothers has, and that we're talking about Capcom All Stars, and you were talking about that Capcom has the most amount of beloved characters. They're second only to Nintendo.
yes,
Like it is astonishing.
yes,
And I'm sitting here and like Capcom just gets like a win every 2 or 3 years where they go, "Hey, do you guys like Capcom games? You want to buy them again? Yeah, here you
yeah.
go, dumbasses."
Because I mean,
And we go, "Woo!" And we're right to do so. But like there's so much that Capcom could just put out.
for one, it's not like we don't have to subscribe to like a Capcom online shop where they've been selling them back to you for like every generation forever now, admittedly. But the main thing is to just like really, it's like get it on PC officially, get it with rollback, get it in some form that will allow people, however many years from now, to still be able to play these games. And it's awesome to be able to do that in this context. I'm glad that is there, and that it also is positive signs about, hey, Marvel is signing the papers, and down with the idea of putting out at least older games right now. Um, the there's always an asterisk with these things, and I have to, like, I really hope that this time they're minimizing the amount of um like emulation based issues that can get in the
Yeah.
way of this being a fully received product, because essentially the last collection had some lag issues that, like, the versions were fine because they're running just the arcade thing. It's not a weird port, it's not a weird edited version or update or anything. It's just the arcade thing running. It even has dip switches and the boot screen and the press insert coin, like all of that is there, right? You see the Q sound logo, in some cases, so that's legit. But if there's any input lag getting in the way of your game, if it's subpar to, well, I mean, not just like CRT testing, but if there's anything with playing online as well that might create an issue, people will just be like, nah, I'm not running it, right? And so in particular, a lot of people that play retro stuff were like, yeah, I'm not going to play VSAV on this Capcom collection because it runs better on Fightcade. ST
Yeah.
players are like, I'm still going to just run it on Fightcade. And like, if this version creates any kind of like reason for people who are really
No, it
into
has to be
these games,
perfect.
yeah,
Yeah, it has to be
to
perfect.
not use it, then that sucks, because it's like, well, now you're preserving it and making it so that it's good, so that people who are interested in these can come and check them out. But you're also then not fixing the problem where the people that are the most into these old games are going to give a fuck about this new release if they look at it and go, yeah, that's cool, I don't care, I'm still just going to stick with this one. physical copies existing, all of that shit. Like I wish that these releases could come out and be good enough for people to run tournaments on and for everyone to not have any of these issues. So
I'm really excited for everyone to find out just how much more love there is in Marvel vs. Capcom than there is in Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
I mean, like, but it's
crazy.
Yeah, well, you know, a little bit of that CVS 1 versus CVS 2 thing as well.
I think CVS 1 to CVS 2 is even worse.
It's but you need a little bit of both, because the sauce requires some love initially, and then throw it all out there, see what sticks. Okay, take that Morrigan sprite and slide it backwards and forwards. We've only got 4 others. Okay, that's fine. Right? Create an entire character out of Bone Claw Wolverine. Just paint bucket fill his claws to be a little more yellow. Done. Right? The level of bullshit that Marvel 2 is based on. Oh, it's the most Mugen it's ever been.
Marvel 2 feels like a pirate video game.
it absolutely, like, I mean, even like so Capcom Fighting Evolution / Fighting Jam was just, it was that feeling with less content and not fun to play.
Yeah.
Whereas Marvel 2 is fucking just borked and janked to all high heaven, but there's so much happening that you can find some fun shit. And even though the characters have, you're like, wait, what do you mean you only have 4 buttons? You have to double tap to get your mediums? What the fuck? What are you doing? It's so weird at the time.
It's so weird.
You know? But it's like, yeah, who cares? There's everyone's here, and there's 3 assist types for everybody. Go nuts. You will never learn every matchup. It's batshit. No semblance of attempting anything being fair balanced or sane whatsoever.
I would really like it if after this collection they decided to do the Ultimate Marvel 3 and give it the netcode that Infinite has, so that people can play Marvel 3 with that good internet.
I mean, that'd be nice. That would be nice. But I continue to be extraordinarily excited for Marvel 3 with Nero and Cyclops and Rashid.
But you have to be able to play it against other people.
Yeah. So I'm not sure how the netcode tests have worked, but there is a possibility that if you're both running identical builds and like you select the same things, like I'm not sure if online works or not. Like I don't know if it has to be parsec. There's I'd have to hear from I guess like Wistful Hopes or something about like whether or not that's going to be the case. But as far as I know, there's always parsec as a bottom line if nothing allows it to connect. Mm-hmm. But if you can connect, it'd be super dope.
So is this opening up the door for goddamn Marvel 4?
It doesn't seem like Capcom's interested in giving us Capcom versus Capcom anytime like soon. It feels as if that's been a like any minute now, come on guys, and then they're like nah, so you're like all right, I guess not.
And the dream of Capcom versus SNK is now fully dead because Terry and Meyer just coming into Street Fighter, like you kind of.
But I also think that represents the fact that the news about Capcom versus SNK back in the day was both studios grew up like the staff were all friends with each other because they're the two fucking monoliths that word doesn't apply. Anyway, the pillars of fighting games, they knew each other, they worked together. People from one studio would go work at the other, they're all friends. Those people all left the companies and didn't recognize each other anymore, didn't really know the staff at each place. So Capcom and SNK during the 09 and forward years were kind of like not really that they didn't know each other that well, and it seems as if like that bridge has been built again. So if anything, negotiations and discussions about possible collaboration can happen now, whereas like it kind of wasn't after Street Fighter 4 brought fighting games back, with Marvel, it's possible, but I feel like it would be really hard to make the game real good because of Marvel. I think that like there's a high likelihood that an Infinite type situation might occur again where you're like, God damn it, you had the chance to, you know, not have all these mistakes, but then like the roster influence and the budget limitations and the rush and the fact that, you know, they'd probably want to fit it into their, you know, Marvel game release cycle in some way instead of giving it its own fucking space and time to breathe. There's a lot that'll ruin it there. Disney involved with a lot of it, you know, like I don't know that like it can happen with a hands-off approach given how everything Marvel runs is now, you know. So I don't know, man. I'm still kind of in a place where I would love a Capcom versus Capcom instead, you know. But there is a real fucking hype that exists when people are like, "Ah, shit, it's Cyclops and Ryu dapping it up. Let's go, boy. What's good?" But you in there though. But you in there, you know, like every one of the like Dipod doing it, and I retweeted as well, like every version of that handshake getting updated because the original sterile Marvel versus Capcom, that like, or X-Men versus Street Fighter with the hello, yes, how do you do, Ryu? Yes, Cyclops, nice to meet you, Scott, hello. And then now the energy is just like, what it do, baby? You know, I love that shit. So yeah, I know that the X-Men and like every character from the you know Marvel as a whole has like a lot of just fun fucking cultural value, but I just feel Disney is gonna fuck up any new project that could come out in this series. I don't have the faith.
They should do it though. Like, I agree with every single thing that you just said, and my gut still says they should do it though. It would be cool.
Because, you know, like you just you might get this thing that's like, well, why not make it have like this ongoing roster that's like, you know, whatever the run of the most recent comic or whatever the latest movie is, we can just push those characters to the forefront.
You know what? You're completely right. They should have signed this deal this week, and then they should say, hey, what's really hot out of Marvel right now? Oh, X-Men 97? Cool. Let's put those characters into a Capcom fighting game. Great. Done.
But also you get like no time or money to make it proper and to
give them at least $4,
you know. Yeah,
that I'm about to say
like,
something
let's call in
as fuck.
Let's call in Dimps, let's call in Aiding, let's call in Namco, let's call it, you know what I mean, just get some homies on the job to make this thing look or play like it should. And let's be real too, like
I think they should do a good job.
Yeah but to surpass 3, right, is what the expectations are. Marvel 4 needs to surpass 3. And
okay, here you go. You ready? You ready for this? Super duper ultimate Marvel 3. Just throw 10 more characters in there.
Throw 12 more in.
Yeah, fuck it. Do it.
Kill the community edition. Yeah, just fuck that shit. We'll do yeah. I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Roll back, run it. That's fine.
Put out Marvel Infinite +1. Literally call it Infinite +1. And put that filter that person's working on in there, and you're done.
I don't hate it at all. Like, you know, the prospect of just that playable now with some new shit. Sure.
Put out X-Men Children of the Atom 2.
Oh,
fuck it.
Marvel Superheroes 2 would have always been an exciting one in particular. Yeah. But I think the game that would be like the best chance of being really good and hype would be one that is not tethered to whatever Disney's trying to do there. You know, I imagine Tatsunoko was like, I don't fucking know. Like, I imagine Tatsunoko's like, yeah, here's Yatterman and Karas, do some shit. I don't know. You know, I don't see them floating too heavily over that game and being too overly concerned about it. But either way, this collection is going to be here, and that's dope. That's dope.
A bunch of shit in there.
Yeah, you know, so obviously that involves X-Men Children of the Atom, which if you have only seen the Marvel vs. Capcom games, like as of like MVC 1 or 2, go back and play Children of the Atom.
It's good.
Not only is it good, but you also will get to appreciate the full quality of those sprites because they have way more frames of animation. Everything is way more detailed and lively than the versions you got over the years. As they added more and more
thing is that X-Men Children of the Atom is the best looking out of all of those games.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like as they added more and more characters and more to these games, they had to reduce the fidelity of the character sprites and stuff, and like they basically Wolverine is such a great example of like go look at his idle animation and
his idle animation is incredible.
He's kind of in Marvel 2 and stuff. He's just kind of like there like that with the claws. And Children of the Atom, he's got the full jig going and he's moving around like it's crazy. Everyone looks so detailed. Like even Cyclops, who just kind of stands there with his chest out, right? In all the later games, it's just like almost like a 2 or 3 frame standing and breathing pose. And like X-Men Children of the Atom, the chest expands and the full breathe is there. All of that stuff. It's so incredible.
I forgot. I'm watching footage of it now. I forgot you jumped between different stages.
Yeah. You had stage transitions. You had things where in Marvel superheroes, when Hulk does the ground wave and stuff, he actually picked up a tile of the stage you were on and threw it at you. It wasn't just generic rocks, right? Like it
looked great.
There's a lot of stuff. You had a Shumagorath, a boneyard stage that kind of scrolled infinitely. It was this wild, like, Lion King ass elephant graveyard that just was this experimental, super long, insane stage. There's a lot to those games that's wild and different. And in the arcade version specifically, you get the weird half game that is Marvel versus Street Fighter, because it was X-Men Street Fighter and then Marvel Street Fighter and then Marvel Capcom. So Marvel versus Street Fighter is like, a weird one of like the Marvel versus like essentially before they added Mega Man and Captain Commando and Strider and stuff, they kind of just had the cast of Street Fighter and then like all the Marvel superheroes characters, and then like Norimaro, which is this Japanese comedian who got a full playable character for some reason that like has a weird bag of like goofball. He's basically like an Animaniac kind of character, and Cyber Akuma, with the full on robot arm and like Kano Eye and all that wild shit. So it's just it's a weird, crazy history to go back to and see all that stuff. And of course, you can trace the purest friendship that is Peter Parker and Morrigan from day one. Always hanging out on the box arts, always posing together in the
they're friends.
Yeah, posing together in the endings, and then win quotes like hope MJ doesn't mind me getting back home later tonight. Yeah, wholesome pure friendship.
They're friends.
Absolutely.
Like Isabel and Doom Guy.
It's good. Nothing untoward happening there. Also, the wildness of this collection being announced in a Nintendo Direct of all places.
Yeah, it's not where I fucking expected. That Nintendo Direct was great, by the way.
That was a crazy one. Mm-hmm.